Hey crochet friends, I'm Tiffany and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you through how to make this sunflower coaster. So it is so beautiful. You can make sunflower petals in whatever color you would like. You can even make the middle in whatever shade of brown you would like. I'm going to do a tan color for this middle for the video so that you can see it, because dark yarn is very hard to show through on a tutorial. So grab 2 shades, whatever colors you would like your sunflowers to be, and they need to be in medium weight, size 4 yarn. Grab a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a sewing needle. Grab all that and we will get started. Okay, so have your crochet hook ready and grab that middle color of yarn that you would like. So this is that tan color that will show up way better in this video. Now lay it on your left hand. We are going to do a magic ring. So hold your thumb down on your pointer and middle finger and then close your ring and pinky fingers. So that's how that should look. Now take this yarn, wrap it around one time and cross over. Hold that now with your thumb. Turn your left hand and then grab this yarn so that you can let go and get your crochet hook. Put it facing down. Go underneath the first loop, over the second loop, and pull the second loop to the right. Turn your crochet hook upward. Get your middle finger out from that hole and then hold this yarn however you like to hold it when you crochet. So this is how I hold it. And I'm going to scoot this loop down a little bit so I can wrap that yarn around and then go through the loop that's on the hook. Just like that. So this is your magic ring. You're going to go underneath these 2 loops when you crochet into it. So now we are going to chain 2, because for this pattern you need 3 chains, and I consider that a chain. So if you don't know how to chain, you put the crochet hook in front of your yarn, wrap it around, and go through the loop that's on the hook. And do it one more time. Wrap it around and go through that loop. So that would be 3 chains. Now that is considered a double crochet for this pattern, and we are going to have 14 total double crochets. So I need to add 13 double crochets into this magic ring. And if you don't know how to double crochet, you wrap the yarn around first, go into this magic ring, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop. There's 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn around and go through the first 2 loops, and then wrap the yarn around and go through the next 2 loops. We're going to do that again. Wrap the yarn around first, go into this magic ring, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through those first 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, pull through the next 2 loops. So that would be 3 double crochets technically. So just 11 more. You need 14 total. So just keep putting double crochets in this magic ring. And when you have your 14, I will show you the next step. Okay, so I have all of my 14 double crochets, and remember that includes those chain 3s. So when you get to this point, now pull on this tail and close up that center hole. So just pull on it and the middle will close, and you can weave this in later. Now find your chain 3s, which is right here. There's 1, 2, 3, and go into that 3rd chain. You can go through 1 loop or 2 loops. I like going through 2 loops. And we're going to do a slip stitch. So wrap the yarn around, pull through, and pull that loop through this next loop. Just like that. Now the next step is to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And in that same space that you did your slip stitch, you're going to do a double crochet there. So wrap the yarn around, go into that same space, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through the first two, and then wrap the yarn around and pull through the next two. And again, those chain threes count as a double crochet, so you have 2 double crochets right next to each other in the same space. So this is my next stitch, and I'm going to go in that and do 2 double crochets as well. So wrap the yarn around, go underneath my 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2, and again in that same space. And in every single stitch, you're going to do 2 double crochets all the way around. So you had 14 stitches, now you're going to have 28 stitches. So go ahead, pause the video, do all of your 2 double crochets in every stitch, and I will meet you at the end and show you the next step. So I have my 28 double crochets. So we're going to lay this down for right now because we're going to add our petal color. So grab your other yarn. So I like to make a slip knot when adding the next color. So this is beginner friendly, so I'm going to walk you through how to make a slip knot. This is that tail, the end of the yarn again. So give yourself that maybe 5 inches or so, and then pinch that with your thumb and pointer of your left hand, and then pinch the top part of that yarn with your middle and ring finger, and it creates a loop like that. Make a heart with your thumb and pointer of your right hand. Go underneath that loop with your palm facing up. Turn your palm facing down. So you see that X right there, and then turn your right wrist towards your left. Grab this yarn now. Hold that, and then let the yarn above and below fall off. Pull your wrists away from each other, and it will cinch up and make your slip knot. So now that that's ready, I'm going to lay that down just nearby, grab my circle again, and then find the top of that chain 3 that we've been doing. So go into that 3rd chain, and you can go under 1 loop or 2 loops. I like 2 loops. And then just drop this color, you don't need it. You're going to add this slip knot to your hook and push the slip knot up, and then pull through and pull that loop through the next loop. Now you can pull on this yarn a little bit so it kind of gets that a little bit tighter. You can also cut this yarn away if it's bugging you and if it's in your way. I'm just going to leave it down to the bottom so it's out of the shot. So now we're going to chain 1. So yarn over, pull through. So the next step after chaining 1 is you do a single crochet. And if you don't know how to do a single crochet, go into that space first. So the same space that you're in. Wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and there's 2 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn around and pull through both of those loops. So that's how you do a single crochet. Now the next step of the petal is to chain 2. Wrap the yarn around, pull through, wrap the yarn around, pull through. And the next step is a double crochet. So just like we've been doing, wrap the yarn around, go into that same space, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2. The next step is to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then count down 3, and in that 3rd chain you're going to do a slip stitch. So I like my 2 loops, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through this next loop. And that gives you your little point. It might not look like it right now, but that's the point of your petal. Now you're going to do a double crochet in that same space. So wrap the yarn around, go down into that space again, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2, wrap the yarn around, pull through 2, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and go into that space that you are in or that you've been going in and do a slip stitch. So go down into the space, wrap the yarn around, pull up a loop, pull that loop through the loop that's on your hook or the next loop that's on your hook, and you have yourself your first petal. So now you're going to skip a stitch and go into the next. So this is my chain 3. I'm in that third chain up there, and this might not look like it because this petal is kind of covering it. The other ones will be easier to see, but for me, this is my next stitch, and that's the stitch I'm going to skip over. So you do a petal, skip a stitch, do a petal, skip a stitch, do a petal, skip a stitch, all the way around. So if your stitch looks like that and looks a little bit too close to your first petal, that's the one you skip over. So this is the next stitch, and you go right into it. So you do nothing with the stitch between them. You just skip over it, yarn over, pull through, and we're going to do our single crochet to start our next petal, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and do a double crochet in the same stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, count down 3, and go into that third chain and do your slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and pull that loop through the next. Do a double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to go down into that same space and do your slip stitch. And then you have your second petal. So skipping this stitch, going into this, do a single crochet, so wrap the yarn around, pull through, wrap the yarn around, and pull through 2. Chain 2, double crochet, chain 3, count down 3, go into that stitch, do your slip stitch, double crochet, chain 3, and then slip stitch into the same stitch you've been going in. And that's how it comes together. And then just keep doing that. Skip a stitch, go into the next, single crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch into that third chain, double crochet, oops, here we go, chain 3, and slip stitch down into that same stitch. And if you have to hold and twist and pull on it so that you have just good angles, it helps with those slip stitches. So just repeat this all the way around, and it should work out to where you will have a petal here and a skipped stitch. and then your petal. So have fun crocheting your sunflower and I will meet you there. Okay, I am back. You should have 14 petals if you count all of them. And I did my slip stitch, so there's that skipped stitch that I'm gonna skip over. And find that first single crochet from your first petal, so it's right here. Go into that stitch, so go underneath those 2 loops, grab your yarn, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and then pull that loop through the next loop. And then pull on your yarn and give yourself plenty to weave in, but not too much. You don't need a crazy amount for this. Pull this through, and then pull on it, and then you can tuck it between these 2 petals and then weave all of these ends in the back. So I can weave one in with you if you're just starting out and you don't quite know how to weave in ends. Okay, so grab your sewing needle. So I'll pick a tan one. Start with the middle. So just put that on your needle. And then that magic ring, in case it ever was slightly coming undone, pull on your yarn a little bit to close it. And it's going in this direction, so I'm going to go back in this direction just to lock it in place. So just find some yarn to go under, and that will help your magic ring completely be locked and it won't ever start opening that hole again. And then just go under pieces of yarn in multiple directions. There's no right or wrong way to weave in your ends. And then you can do it for as long as you like. And then whenever you're done, just cut it, put your next yarn on your needle, and then just go in multiple directions, back and forth, so it's not in just one spot. Because if you stay in one spot, it can get really bulky and hard. So just space out your weaving, and then when you're content, cut it off. So just weave in all your other ends and then you're completely finished. So I'm going to weave in this off camera and then I will be back. Alright guys, so that's all that it takes to whip these up. Hopefully this video was easy to follow. Let me know if it was, or even if it wasn't. I'd love to hear your feedback. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and all those good things. It really helps me out. And tag me on Facebook or Instagram. Let me know how yours turned out, what colors you guys chose. And have fun crocheting your sunflower coasters. Bye crochet friends!